Welcome to video podcast number 70. Well, I drank pretty much this whole bottle. There's like maybe 2% left. Rise. This is the orange juice equivalent to vitamin water zero. But like I said, I drank most of it before I started this video. Now, as you can see by my background again, this is going to be my, third or fourth different background in my new place. Because I've done two in two different spots in my home office. I did one in my dining room. Now I'm in my living room. This is the living room of my new place. And over this shoulder, you see my big screen curve HD TV. I don't even watch that thing. I don't even know why I got it. I do most of my TV watching in my home office or my bedroom. This is going to be a hybrid, as I like to call them. There's some videos I do that are strictly for free. Some videos I do that are strictly Patreon exclusive videos. And then there's some videos I do that are a combination where it has a free portion of it and then it has a Patreon exclusive portion. I don't know the exact minute mark right now where I'm going to cut off the free portion and start my Patreon exclusive portion. But yeah, this is going to be a hybrid video, So there's going to be a portion of this video, probably at least the first 20 minutes is going to be for the free general public. And then the remainder of the video is going to be for my $5 subscribers and up. $5 Patreon subscribers and up. Two announcements as far as upcoming podcasts. I actually have a podcast, a live stream interview podcast this afternoon at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern with a guy named Donovan Sharpe. Donovan Sharpe, he writes for the Negro Manosphere and he's written for Return of Kings. And he will be interviewing. This will actually be his third time interviewing. He's interviewed me twice on his audio podcast program, and this will be his first time interviewing me on his YouTube video podcast program. So that happens today. I'll put the link down in the comment section, and you can always check out my other important and relevant links in the description section. But I'll put the link to that podcast below. Yeah, that's at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Then I will be testing out my own live. You know, I've only done one live stream attempt since I've been on YouTube. That was my very first video. If you go back to literally my very, very, very first video podcast, it was I would say generally a failed attempt at a live stream. I need to get up with live stream capabilities. I want to say my internet is strong enough based on, the Mbps rating, megabytes per second or whatever that's called. So it's not that I have weak internet. So it's nothing to do with my internet connection. It's more so to do with just the device itself. Like my brother was telling me that I need to get a Mac computer, some type of Apple computer. Apple computers tend to be more conducive to live streaming than regular PC computers. But I'm going to try it on Tuesday. No, Wednesday. Was it? Damn, now I can't forget the date I had it scheduled for. I think it's Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do my Patreon exclusive. I'll give you an update if you're a Patreon subscriber of mine. But it's going to be Tuesday, December 12th at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It's going to be my first Patreon exclusive live stream test. If it goes at least decently okay, I will allow my Patreon subscribers to be in my chat room and ask me questions. If it fails miserably, then I'm going to have to, look to invest in some new live stream equipment, such as a new computer or whatever. I might live stream from my phone. We'll just see how it goes. That's the whole purpose of me doing it, is to test it out. Okay. Got a lot of feedback from my last video. A lot of actually very complimentary, flattering feedback from my last video. Some guys, both publicly and privately, said they would rank my very last video, the one where I talked about the 4 different types of sexual attraction women have for men. Some guys actually said they would rank that in my top 3, top 5 best video podcasts I've ever done, which was very flattering to me. Yeah, I had more than a handful of guys say that. They ranked it anywhere from in the top 3 best videos they've watched from me to no lower than the top 5. So a lot of guys learned a lot. Like, if you remember one of my early videos I did, like probably in one of my first 10 to 15 videos, I mentioned that there's some videos I will do. It could be a free video or a Patreon exclusive video that will make at least a percentage of my male listeners and viewers go, aha, aha. I call it an aha moment. When you say, like, if there's 30 pieces of the puzzle to figuring things out to do with dealing with women, and you might have, I don't know, if there's 30 pieces of the puzzle, you might have 27 of the pieces already. And there's 3 pieces that are missing. And then I might say something that allows you to add the 28th piece, the 29th piece, and or the 30th piece. And that's what happened with a lot of guys in my last video. Like, a lot of guys, what some guys told me, they said, Alan, I was always confused by a lot of women's behavior, because they would see, in one moment they would seem to be very attracted to me sexually, but then the next moment they would act like they were totally turned off by me sexually, and I could never figure that out until I listened to your last video. It makes sense to me. And in simple terms, what I basically explained, if you haven't watched that video yet, is simply this. When dealing with women, not only do you have to identify if that woman is sexually interested in you versus not interested in having sex with you, but more specifically, you have to identify what type of interest she has in you. What type of interest she has in you. For example, you can meet a woman that might be very interested in having long-term sex with you, but once you mention to her that you're only interested in short-term sex, she's going to lose interest. She's going to lose interest. She's going to be like, I ain't interested in short-term sex with you. There might be some women who are interested in monogamous sex with you, but once you mention that you're interested in non-monogamous sex, they ain't going to be interested anymore. Or if you paying a woman for sex, if you giving women money or doing financial favors for women in exchange for sex, and then you mention later on that you want sex just for free, you're going to find that a lot of women are going to be like, no, I ain't down with that. I ain't cool with having sex with you if you ain't going to pay none of my bills or give me any money. And so on and so on. So, and that's not exclusively a female thing. As I mentioned also in my last video, men are the same way. Like, I know, speaking for myself, man, there's some women that I'm only interested in having like a one-night stand or weekend fling with. Anything beyond that, I'm not interested. There's some women I'm only interested in having maybe 2, 3, 4 months of casual sex with, but if they were to propose to me having sex with them over a period of 2 to 3 years, I wouldn't be interested. There's some women I'm only interested in non-monogamous sex with, that if those women were to propose to me the idea of us having monogamous sex, I would be like, no, I ain't interested, or vice versa. So Men and women are pretty much the same in that area, man. Not only do we have members of the opposite sex that we're interested in having sex with versus not interested in having sex with, but within the category of companions that we're interested in having sex with, we have different categories. We have different categories of people we want to have sex with. Again, some people you want to have sex with long term. Others you want to have sex with only short term. Some people you want to have sex with monogamously. Other people you cool with having sex with them non-monogamously. And see, this brings me to another issue. Knowing that, this is why a lot of men engage in what I call unethical seduction behavior. Again, I probably post that article I wrote for the Negro Manosphere called "There Are Ethics to Getting Laid." See, this is why a lot of conventional PUAs and even some dating coaches, their advice is almost the opposite of my mode 1 advice. Like, for example, there's a lot of PUAs and dating coaches that actually encourage men to lie to women and mislead women into believing that they want a long-term monogamous sexual relationship when they know deep down that they really want just a short-term non-monogamous relationship. I call that tricking a woman into having casual sex. That's called tricking a woman into having casual sex. Or another term I have for it is sneaking through the side door. You're having sex with women by sneaking through the side door. And see, that's why you got all these Hollywood allegations and accusations and whatnot. I'm going to tell you something. I'll probably say this for my Patreon exclusive portion. But my simple thing I would say to this, when you trick women into having a certain type of sex with you, when you know you really wanted another, like for example, you mislead women into believing that you wanted long-term monogamous sex, when in reality it comes out that you really just wanted short-term non-monogamous sex. I'm going to tell you fellas, I've given you this warning I think once or twice before. There's a well-known phrase that goes by, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Women will come after you. Trust me when I say that. Women will come after you, man. When you fuck with women's emotions, toy with women's emotions, mislead them and lie to them, there's a greater than 50% chance that women are going to come after you some kind of way. They're going to seek some type of vengeance, some type of vindication. Some women might start stalking you. Well, sometimes women will stalk you just if you give them some really good dick. So let me put that out there too. Sometimes if you just blow a woman's back out and fuck the shit out of her, someone would just, even if you didn't mislead them or trick them into having sex, you were totally straight up with them, some women will stalk you just if you give them some really good dick. I've had women stalk me. I mean, you know, I guess that's an indirect way of tooting my horn, but yeah, I've had women stalk me just because I gave them some good dick. But a lot of women will stalk you if they feel like you misled them. Like you misled them to believe that you wanted to be their long-term boyfriend, but then after you fucked them 5 or 10 times, you just left them alone without warning. Yeah, man, most women ain't cool with that shit, dude. And again, I think that relates to a lot of these Hollywood and media-related allegations and accusations. Oh, and I got to emphasize this for at least probably maybe arguably my 3rd video in a row. If not 4th or 5th video in a row. Guys, I still have guys write me saying stuff like, Alan, I can't believe you're not lighting into these women, and it seemed like you almost defending these women, man. You know good and well that these are bullshit allegations and accusations. How come you're not defending any of these guys against these totally bullshit delayed accusations? Some of these things they saying happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Man, that's bullshit. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Here's what I refuse to defend on behalf of men. These men, like, whether they work in the entertainment industry, media, the world of politics, the world of business, and any other industry, who've been accused of either sexual harassment or sexual misconduct. Here's what I will not defend. Any form of sexual assault, I will not defend. If a man has been accused of doing something like raping women, date raping women, grabbing on a woman's body without her permission, what's known as groping, I ain't gonna defend no man on that shit, dog. And y'all can call me whatever name you want to call me, whether they're a white knight or whatever, but I'm not defending no dude for that, dude. Yeah, any form of sexual assault and or groping, I don't defend that shit. I don't defend that shit at all. If you read my book, speaking of my books, if you listen to I'm going to give out up to five free ebook versions, if you don't have it already, of my updated 2017 version of Mo 1. I'm going to give out up to 5 copies. So that's your motivation if you're a Patreon subscriber. If you're a Patreon subscriber of mine, but you don't own my updated version of my Mo 1 ebook, I'll be giving out up to 5 free copies on my live stream test next Tuesday. Also, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. area from Friday through early Monday morning. I got one dating coaching session booked, and I got an opening for another one. So if you're in the D.C. area, let me know. I was saying, in my Ooh Say It Again book, I specifically discourage men from being physically aggressive with women in the first conversation. Well, I say in general, but particularly in the first conversation. Yeah, man, unless a woman is giving you some type of obvious verbal indication or body language indication that you're free to touch your body, dude, you should never take it upon yourself to grope women. You asking for trouble, man. Like, I know some PUAs, man, who actually specifically encourage that. And a couple of them got in trouble for that, too. I ain't going to call out their names, but some of y'all know who I'm talking about. There's been at least 2 well-known PUAs that got in trouble for encouraging their clients to be physically aggressive with women. I never encourage that, man. I encourage men to be verbally provocative and to a large degree verbally explicit, but I never encourage men to be physically aggressive with women. So anyway, going back to these Hollywood and media and other business related accusations and allegations of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, and guys write me saying, why don't you defend the guys more and why don't you criticize women more? Again, number one, man, I don't defend any guy if he's guilty of anything related to sexual assault, which usually includes rape, attempted rape or attempted date rape, and to a lesser extent, even groping falls under the category of sexual assault. I ain't down with that shit, man. I don't defend the guys with that. Second thing I don't defend that I've seen frequently is guys who have walked around naked in front of women, pulled out their dicks on women without their consent, and even more specifically, pulled out their dicks and start masturbating in front of women without the women's consent. Man, I don't defend that shit, dude. I don't defend that shit, man. No, man, I can't. I don't defend that shit, man. I don't even get that, man. Why you want a woman to watch you masturbate? Why ain't you trying to get a woman to suck your dick, man? I don't even understand why a man wants a woman to watch him masturbate. That don't even make sense to me. Or guys just walking around naked in front of women. Older guys. Like, I can see if you're a male stripper in your 20s or 30s and you want women to see you naked. You know, that wouldn't be too unusual, man. But if you're like 65, 70 years old, man, and you're walking around, man, most young women don't want to see no 65, 70, 75-year-old dude walking around naked. That ain't no turn on for no woman. And even if you're a young guy, if you're significantly overweight, like say you like 50, 75, 100 pounds overweight, man, ain't no woman want to see you walk around naked. Again, if you got a physique, if you're young and got a physique like a athlete or a male stripper, then I can understand why you would want women to, watch you naked. Shit, when I was young and I had a really cut physique, because there were periods when I was young, if I say so myself, man, my physique was tight, man. It was lean, slim, muscularly defined. Shoot, yeah, I love showing off my body in front of women. And women love me showing off my body in front of them. But, man, if you either much older and or much fatter, man, ain't nobody want to see you naked. Ain't nobody want to see you naked. I say the same thing goes with most women, man. Who wants to see a 60-year-old woman walking around butt naked? I know I just offended my 60-year-old female listeners, but no, unless you just some kind of unicorn exception, no man wants to see no 55, 60, 65-year-old woman walking around naked. No. No man wants to see no woman who's 50, 75, 100 pounds overweight walking around butt naked. No, we don't. Well, there might be some guys who do, but I don't. So yeah, man. So, I don't defend that. Here's what I do defend, and I've already said this. Here's what I do defend. Is if there's a situation with a guy, whether he's famous or just a regular Joe Schmo, if a guy told a coworker of his or a business colleague of his that he was interested in having sex with her, and she said, no, I'm sorry, I'm just not interested. And he said, okay, and he left her alone. And then a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, that woman tries to say that guy sexually harassed her. Then that's when I'm going to defend the guy to the death. That's when I would defend the guy to the death. Because that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's the one situation more than any other situation that I would call bullshit on that. Is if a man simply let a woman know he wanted to have sex with her, that woman rejected him, and then he left her alone. He didn't issue any more sexual advances her way, but yet months later or years later, that woman comes out and says, oh, that guy was guilty of sexual harassment. That's bullshit. Or another thing I would call bullshit on is you got a lot of situations nowadays where if you just use profanity / X-rated language in the company of a woman, she'll say, oh, that guy was guilty of sexual unprofessional conduct because he was telling X-rated jokes to his male coworkers and I was standing 5 feet away. Well, bitch, you need to move then. Shit, you need to fucking move. If that's bothering your fucking ears. If he ain't talking to you directly, you need to fucking move. That's what you need to do. Now, it's one thing if a dude keeps telling you X-rated jokes and you've already told him at least once, I don't want to hear your X-rated jokes, and he keeps telling you, then I agree, that's sexual harassment. But if a guy is telling one of his male coworkers an X-rated joke and you standing 3 feet away, 5 feet away, 7 feet away, you happen to hear it, and then you're going to go there, because there have been incidences of this. I had a close friend that happened to. Yeah, he got written up one time for sexual, I don't think it was sexual harassment, it was more so considered unprofessional conduct in the workplace because some woman who was standing 5 or 6 feet away from him heard him telling a couple of his male coworkers an X-rated joke. Man, see, that's bullshit. That type of shit, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Women, in that scenario, women need to get over their fucking prudish sensibilities. They need to get over their fucking prudish sensibilities. I hate women who are verbal prudes, man. I think everybody, male and female, who knows me and been following me for a while knows that. I can't stand really both members of both genders. Particularly women, man. I don't like people who are verbally prudish, man. Meaning that you get sensitive to simply X-rated language, man. Fuck that shit, man. Get over that shit. Get over that shit. So anyway, all right, I think right now I'm about at the 25, 26 minute mark. I think I'm going to end my free portion, and now I'm going to start my Patreon exclusive portion for my $5 subscribers and up. My $5 subscribers and up. So, until next time. Oh, remember two things. I have a live stream interview today with Donovan Sharpe. Again, once I get the link, I'll post it in the comment section below. Excuse me, burp number one. And I have my own live stream test session. I'm going to call it just simply a test session. A Patreon exclusive live stream next Tuesday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern next Tuesday. All right. So that will end the free portion of today's video podcast number 7.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.